Hey everyone, I'm Brian. You're watching the Build a Place channel. In this video, I want to do an unbox, setup, and operate of this propane heater that I bought. I recently bought this from Home Depot. It was about $100, so I'm going to try to heat the shop with it, or at least knock the chill off. So the heater that I selected is made by Mr. Heater. It's a contractor series heater. It's rated at 30 to 60,000 BTUs. It's portable and it's propane with forced air, and the model number is MHC60FAV. So we're going to get started unboxing this and setting it up and operating. So let's get started. Inside the box it contained the operator's instructions and owner's manual. There was 4 screws, the handle, the heater itself, and the hose regulator combination. So I'm going to put the handle on first, get that done, and then we'll go on to putting the hose and regulator assembly. To install the handle, I just set it up here on the top. I used the Phillips head screwdriver. You could also use a straight blade for these screws. Just line up the screw with the insert and install the 4 screws. Pretty simple. The first step we're going to do is, according to the instructions, inspect it, make sure there's no damage, no apparent damage to the unit from shipping. So I've already done that. There's nothing that I've seen that's damaged or bent or anything. The box was in good shape. So the next thing they recommend is to read the precautions. So there's a manual that comes with it. There's a lot of safety concerns that they want you to follow. So it's recommended to do that. The next step is to connect the regulator to the propane tank. Now this is a counterclockwise thread, so you got to run it backwards from what you would think it needs to go. So I got to think backwards. So that requires a 7/8 inch wrench to tighten. So we just snug that up. The next step is to install the hose to the heater. So there's a protective cover that needs to come off on the hose, and there's a protective cover on the heater itself. So just take that off. This is standard right hand thread. So thread that on. This is going to take a 3/4 inch wrench to tighten. Snug it up. Okay, our next step is to do a leak test. So we turn the valve on, we slowly turn the valve on, open it up. And then we're just going to go around the connections that we made and see if there's any leaks. This is a solution of soap and water, just dish soap and water. If there is any leaks, it'll bubble up at that location. There's none there. I'm going to test this fitting here at the regulator because it's new. So I want to make sure that's good, which it seems to be good. That's the factory connection. And this factory connection here. Let me turn this around so you can see it. This is the leading from the fitting to the regulator. Make sure that's not leaking. Then this is the connection we just made to the tank. So we'll check that. The thing I do is I go around and I also put the brush underneath the fittings. So if there is some kind of leak around, you'll find it. But if there was a leak, you'd see bubbles and that are bubbling, not just the bubbles from the solution. You'd see bubbles coming up. So we don't appear to have any leaks, and I don't smell any propane smell, which I can smell it. Some people can't smell it, so you need to be careful. If you can't smell propane, you may want to get a sensor in your shop that can indicate there's a propane leak. So we're going to turn this off just for now, since we know we're good on that, and go on to the next step. I want to go over the starting procedures, but as soon as you plug this in, it gets kind of loud. So what I'm going to do is we're going to simulate doing the startup, and then we're going to do it for real. So first thing you do is you plug the power in, to the unit, and then you let the fan operate for 20 seconds. At that point, after the 20 seconds expired, you turn on the gas bottle all the way on, and then the instructions, they say to turn this to the low position where it won't turn until you press it. So you have to, I have to press it and rotate it, and it'll stop. You rotate it counterclockwise until it stops, and it will light, and you hold that knob down for 30 seconds. And after the 30 seconds is up, you can let it up, and then you can adjust it to whatever. The further counterclockwise you go, the higher the flame. Going clockwise back to it stops. You just stop. Don't have to push it down. Just rotate it, and it'll stop at the lowest setting. And then for shutting it off, they recommend to turn the bottle off first and let it go out. Push the knob in, rotate it to off, and then disconnect the power. So we're going to go through this and we'll see how that goes. So the first thing you recommend doing is plug it in, let it run for the 20 seconds. I want to move this bottle down to the floor. I want it as far away from the heater so you won't see the curtain. I only have it set this way for demonstration purposes. I plan to keep it on the floor while I'm using it. So our 20 seconds is just about up. We got a few more seconds. I just lapse out a little bit. Now that the 20 seconds are up, we're going to go over. I'm going to turn the gas bottle on. Okay, to ignite the flame, you first push down the knob, rotate it counterclockwise until it stops. You'll hear the flame start. I can hear the flame going. We'll hold this for 30 seconds. And after 30 seconds, we can let up on it. So let's give it our 30 seconds. Okay, the 30 seconds has expired. So now we can let up on the knob. We can turn it counterclockwise to get more heat. That would be the maximum setting. That should be your 60 thousandths BTU output, and then anywhere in between that down to your 30,000 BTU. Now, for the shutdown of this unit, the first thing we'll do is we'll go over and we'll turn the gas bottle off. Okay, the flame has died, so we'll push the knob in, turn the heater to off. We'll allow the heater to cool off. The fan will continue to run. Give it enough time to cool itself down. I have my hand out there, it's getting cold coming out. So then you remove the power. Now I can stop yelling. I know I was yelling the whole time. This is not where I plan to have this set up. I had planned to have this set up on the floor. I just wanted to have it up here on top of the bench so you could see the operation according to the manual. This is the configuration I plan to have my heater set up. The heater will be on this side of the shop, basically in the middle. And try to keep the hose as far or as long as I can away from the cylinder. So the cylinder is going to be over here, pretty much as far of a distance away from the heater as I can based on the length of the hose. And that tank is in the path of my exit to egress out of the shop. So if something was to happen where the heater had whatever, I could easily, as I'm exiting the shop, shut off the propane, potentially stop the fire. The other thing, if you notice the bottom of my door, I have a 2x4. It's spacing the door open. the heater is, they're looking for a minimum ventilation area of 1 square foot near the floor and 1 square foot near the ceiling. So my plan is to put a block of wood under the door. That'll give me plenty of air, fresh air to come in. And the other thing that they recommend is to never leave this heater unattended while it's burning. So don't think about starting to think up in your shop and just let it run and go inside for a little bit. You need to attend this thing and look through the manual, and there's a lot of warnings that they give you, and where this thing can be placed, how far it needs to be away from flammable items as far as clearances. So look into that. Thanks for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. Remember, read your operating instructions and owner's manual to be familiar with how it works. I gave you quick operating instructions, but I didn't cover any of the safety concerns really. And the big thing that's on every page is never leave the heater unattended while burning. So basically, they definitely don't want you to leave this thing in your shop and you go out and eat lunch and then come back later thinking your shop's gonna be all warm. Your shop may be nice and warm, but it may be burnt to the ground. So read that. Subscribe to my channel if you like this kind of content. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Leave comments. I'll try to reply to any comments and give you any feedback. I did get a chance to run this a little bit in the shop, and it knocked the chill out pretty good. It's starting to get cold here as winter's coming in. So I think I'm going to get a lot of use out of this in the shop. Not to really heat the shop hot, just to get the shop so it's bare wet here as the weather gets colder. So thanks again for watching.